Okay, so I want to address an issue that we've been experiencing, or some users have been experiencing today. I'm experiencing it. I normally don't. This is a once every few months thing for me, so I think I should make a video for you to tell you what your next step should be. So I open my AutoCAD first thing Monday morning, and I'm greeted with this error message telling me that I'm not authorized to use the software. It's telling me that the last time I used it was actually this morning, but that's because I tested it with HydraCAD, and it worked then. I used a hardware lock, and this is the serial number for my hardware lock, so it's proven to me that a lock was plugged in. I'll click OK here, and you'll get a couple more error messages, which I'll just power through, and I'll eventually get us back to my desktop. One quick thing to note is once you do get into AutoCAD, you can tell none of the HydraCAD commands are working, because if I attempt to check my version of HydraCAD and I select about HydraCAD, it says unknown command. Or if I even try to use size a pipe, SZP command, no function definition. So this does not work. So we're going to go back to my desktop and we're going to go check a couple things. I'm going to close my HydraCAD window. I'm going to go back to my start menu and I'll select my HydraKEY application. HydraKEY opens up and it tells me a couple bits of information you need to verify. My current version of HydraKEY is 210704. That is the most current version. If you're on an older version, you would likely get an error message indicating as much, and a red button that says update somewhere in here to tell you to update HydraKEY. The second thing I'm seeing here is this is telling me that I have had at one point in time a digital lock on this computer, but it's not installed. So this is the serial number of my digital lock. It's not on my computer because I can see here that it says not applicable. If it was on my computer, I would have an expiration date, or I would have it say perpetual. So if you see perpetual or an expiration date here, your digital lock is technically on your computer. If it says NA, that means it's not on your computer. This is telling you what serial number was installed to your computer or is installed to your computer of your digital lock. Now I have a physical USB hardware lock, and that's it right here, and I can see here that it is plugged in. I'm literally looking at it on my computer. It's plugged in and it's lit up in green and everything, but for some reason the 64-bit size won't work. So again, I'll test it by opening HydraCAD next. So when I open HydraCAD, HydraCAD opens up to more than 30 rows. That means the lock is working for 32-bit. It just isn't working for 64-bit. So no big deal. Well, hopefully not a big deal. Let me close out of HydraKEY. I'm going to unplug my USB lock from my computer. So I unplugged it and it just flew across. And I'm going to now try to open HydraCAD. And when I try to open HydraCAD, we'll get some error messages. I'll power through them and then I'll speed up the video and show you what happens. Trial version of HydraCAD enabled, meaning only 30 rows. So I cannot scroll past this. Okay, and that's it. So I'll close out of HydraCAD. I will open HydraKEY again. And since my lock is not plugged in, you'll see my hardware lock number is set to none. Here's the other thing I'm going to do. I'm going to click on this button here that says update version permission. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to do a save as, and I'll save it to my desktop. So I'm going to save it to my desktop. I'll click save. And then I'm going to close out of my web browser. So by you clicking that update version permissions, it opens your web browser. It'll ask you what you want to do with the computer. Don't run it or open it. Save it to your desktop or save it to your computer. Now I'm going to go find the file. I'll right click it. I'll select run as administrator. I'll answer yes to the question asking me if I want to make changes. Next, install, and finish. I'd like to add a quick addendum to the video that I made yesterday regarding getting everything working, and one more thing to do after that so that you don't have to keep going back and forth, or you can wait to see if HydraCAD doesn't open, then you can try this. So It's your decision how you want to do this, which order. If AutoCAD doesn't work, then you can do this, or you can just do this right after running the version permissions. So under my C drive, and if I go to my HES folder, you're going to have a folder called Common. Open that folder up, and in there, there's a file called centsetup.exe. These are the actual drivers for the Sentinel lock. And if you run this file, so I'm going to double click that. I'll answer yes to allow the computer to make changes, and it's going to start the install. I'll allow it to install Sentinel Protection Installer 7.6.9. I'll click next. I'll tell it to repair it. So don't choose modify, don't choose remove, just select repair. Click next, click install. And it's going to start the process. I can see that the green light on my USB hardware lock just turned off, so it basically uninstalled the drivers for it. And then it's going to reinstall the drivers for it. Okay, and then now the drivers have been reinstalled. It's going to tell me that it wants to finish. I'll click finish, and then it will tell me that I need to restart the computer. So at this point, you might want to make sure that you've closed all open applications on your computer. Close those, then click yes to restart the computer. Okay, so we'll pick it up as if I just rebooted the computer, and then now I'm going to go back and go to my start menu to open HydraKEY. I'll click on my HydraKEY, and we won't notice a difference here at all. I'm just opening it. Again, my hardware lock is not plugged in now, so let me plug in my USB hardware lock. So I'm going to plug it in. I'll go back to HydraKEY. We should see that it's plugged into the computer. It is. Now I'm going to, and actually let's do some housekeeping. So I'm going to delete that file. Or if there are others in your office experiencing the same problem, you can probably give them the file and have them open it. So here's the moment of truth. We'll see if that worked or not. Okay, and I get the start window, which is a good sign. I'll select Imperial Default Template. I'll click OK. All of this is a good sign here. I'll check About HydraCAD. It looks good. And I'll select the SZP command, and you can see here I get this window. So update your version permissions and unplug or reseat your USB, unplug it, plug it back in. Try a couple things, and for most people that works. If you still have issues, then we'll have to consider giving you either a temporary digital authorization or swapping out the USB hardware lock for a perpetual digital lock. Thanks for watching the video, and hopefully you're all set.